Hello and welcome to Popcorn and Plot Holes. Yeah, that's the sound you get if you watch the movie we're going to talk about this week, which shouldn't have been Madam Web, the Tahar Rahim vehicle.
I was going to say the Adam Scott vehicle, but that's better.
No. Ezekiel Sims put a lot of movement work into this movie. He deserves it too. With me, as always, Luciano.
Yeah, why?
Why not? Spencer?
Dear God.
I should rephrase that. We have the shell of Spencer.
Yeah.
This movie broke Spencer, and half of him checked out for the evening.
I'm hoping it's just for the evening.
For the evening.
I
We don't know how long
I hope it's
it'll
half.
last.
Feels like less than
It might
half.
be less than half. That's fine.
Yeah, this movie, man. Man, I'm at a loss for words. I really am.
Don't worry, we'll find some.
Yeah.
Chris and not Chris just were like, nope.
Conveniently, we're unavailable.
Cowards, we'll call
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do what we always do because we are men of our word. We're going to start off with something nice about Madam Web.
Oh, I forgot about this section.
Luciano, would you like to give
yeah.
Spencer a chance to think of
Yeah, I
something?
will. I will. So
It can't be a so bad it's funny moment. It
No,
has
no,
to
no,
be
no.
a
It's
real
fine.
good
Legit.
thing.
It's fine. So spoiler for my review later, but this movie isn't great. So I'm going to pick my favorite scene, which is... I thought it was really badass the way she flew with that fucking ambulance and just rammed into fucking spider douche. That I was legit like, okay, that was badass.
Oh, cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Which time when she drove
The
a car
the-
into the bad guy?
The ambulance.
The ambulance,
Not the taxi
specifically.
time.
Yeah.
Because she flew through a billboard and hit him midair
Yeah.
and shoved him into a building. I was like, all right, okay, I'm here for that. I genuinely enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
good use of your future powers.
Yeah. It
It
was.
would have been nice to see more of that instead
Would've
of using
been.
the same thing twice of using the car to hit the
It
major
was a
bad guy.
different Spencer. We're being positive. It was a different
Different
car.
car.
It's a different car,
Different city,
different time of day.
different time of day.
All valid
Yeah.
points. Spencer, have you come up with something?
Yes, I actually remember there was one part of the movie. It's very, very specific when she first got like into that car crash. A lot of car crashes in this movie where she goes off the bridge and gets first like her powers get activated.
Oh, that
She
wasn't
has,
a
like,
car crash, to be fair. That was someone else's car crash. She was just
Yeah.
helping him out.
Totally different.
She got
That's
in
right.
and took the guy out, and
Yeah.
then she fell with the car. Yeah.
But then she got in the car and that car crashed into the water.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, the part I liked is when her powers get activated, she has kind of like a weird vision thing. And there's a shot where there's a balloon and she goes and pops the balloon and the balloon turns into liquid when she touches it and it covers her hands in blood. And I was
Yeah.
like, that was a cool little visual.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
I was like, that was cool. That's it. That's all I got.
That little,
Digging deep, digging very deep.
I just
Little visual.
that was the only part of the movie where I was like, oh, cool.
cool. I will say that for the first quarter of the movie, I'll say quarter, I found that Dakota Johnson was quite charming initially as Cassandra Webb. When you see her, in her little world, talking with Ben Parker and being an ambulance driver and being weird about the kid giving her that picture of his family and stuff. It was.
You know why, right?
Hey, we're not
Just
here to
playing herself.
ruin.
Just playing herself.
That's fine. But
That's
she
fine.
was relatable.
No, it
and-
was. Yeah, I agree.
and seemed like someone you can hang out with, and so I thought that was the character was well acted for the first quarter, maybe a third if you're being generous. of the movie.
25 minutes.
She's the ambulance, the EMT who famously hates.
Helping people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
that's why I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Where to start with this movie? Let's just start.
Can I just point out the thing you liked about the movie was a quarter of one actor's performance?
Yeah.
Not even an actor's performance. A quarter of one actor's performance.
I think I liked much of her acting,
No,
but
Me neither.
wrong.
the challenge is that so much of it's wrapped up in the directing and the story,
Yeah.
Don't forget the
lack
writing,
thereof. And the writing. Well, the writing is the
dialogue.
story.
Well, the dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue in this movie. Oh my
The
god.
dialogue. It's the
Here-
dialogue.
Here's what I'm going to say. Much like many of the actors in this movie, none of them deserved this, per se. I've seen them do acting in a much better capacity in other things.
Yes.
I generally like what Adam Scott does.
Yeah, he's very capable.
He's a very capable actor. So
I will say I didn't care for Ezekiel, and I'd never seen him before, so fuck him.
well, listen, we're still being positive. We're not finished being.
We are.
positive.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah. So
Your positive point was that the actors did not deserve this.
yes,
It's not their fault.
not their fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not their fault.
It's not your fault.
So let's get into this.
Oh boy. And there is so much to get into.
Oh,
Let's start at a really high level because it kind of encompasses the whole story. Las Arañas.
Which I learned.
Las what now?
Las arañas.
Ah, okay, because that's not what Matt said.
Sorry, I didn't. I said Las Arañas.
That was another constant. Wait, okay, whatever. Continue.
Las arañas.
Listen,
Continue.
it's not my fault. It's the movie's fault. The spiders, if you will.
Yes.
We learned.
as I
We
learned
learned. Yeah, in Spanish. It's
in prepping the show. It's Spanish for Las Arañas is Spanish for the spiders. I guess let's start here. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
what acid trip came
What?
up with this concept?
What the fuck up to and including their CG, which was like, I was like, okay, I know the movie is set in, at that point, it was in 1973.
Sure.
And I was like, was the CG done in 1973 as well? Because holy shit.
They're trying to stay real.
Yeah, those are practical effects.
Don't worry.
It's a practical spider.
The-
Claymation.
The
Yeah, claymation
the
spider.
effects
Okay.
go downhill from there, just in case
Yeah.
you're wondering. But yeah, the claymation spiders. You're right.
Yeah, I don't
And
understand.
the naked Spider-Man.
Well, I don't know enough about like the fucking bowels of Spider-Man lore, but I don't think that there's anything specifically like that in the comics, is there? I think this is for the movie.
If there's a comic where there's a tribe of naked Spider-Men who wear vines that make it look like a spider suit,
Right.
that looks like the Spider-Man suit, which hasn't been created
Created.
by Spider-Man for another 40
30 years or 40 years, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe 50 years, probably 50 years.
It's 50 years
Yeah.
because Spider-Man is technically set now.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So,
Yeah.
so if that's in the comics, then they're fucked too. Like, I'm not giving this movie a pass
Yeah, no.
for using some bad comic trope or idea.
Just because it's in comics doesn't mean you just get to use it.
Yeah, it doesn't
No,
mean
I
it's
just want to know
not
where I
trash.
laid the blame. That's all
Yeah,
I
that's
want to
fair.
know.
Well, and like so, the whole concept is this. I don't know if it's specifically the tribe or
Spider Clan.
or the spider, the convention of this Amazonian / Peruvian spider.
It's the Peruvian Amazon. That's what
Yeah.
it said.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
both right.
Yeah, they were in the Amazon, but living
Mm-hmm.
in Peru. Like I don't know if the convention of the spider's at fault. Like the idea that if you get bitten by the spider, you get the powers. Many things they don't tell us about. It looks like you have to be bitten constantly, based on Ezekiel Sims. Sorry, that's Alistair Sims is the Scrooge actor. That's on me. I guess Scrooge was in this movie, which also confused the fuck out of me, but we're not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Sims captured the spider, and
Right.
he had to keep it in order to keep his powers.
Did he?
Well, he had him. We never see him get bitten again. Like Cassie's mom gets bitten once and she gets the powers. I don't think it has to be all the time.
What power? Cassie's mom got the power to die in childbirth.
No.
The greatest power of all.
Cassie gets powers.
Cassie got the power. Also, not how that works technically, because she was barely in her for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Cassie's mom gets the power to die really quickly.
Right.
That's the power that she gets.
Oh, great. So then, why does Ezekiel Sims keep the spider?
I don't know.
I assume that empire he was talking about was built upon
The backs of that spider.
the backs of the back of that single spider. Yeah,
So the
Yeah.
spider had like an outfit it wore to work every day. and
yeah.
Rode
Yeah.
the
He's like,
subway in New York City.
Yeah.
Buy Bitcoin. Trust me, it'll play out.
Well, in 2003,
That's
that
right.
would not have, that
Fresh,
would
I
have been
know.
good advice.
Yeah.
The spider knows what's up, and the spiders can see the future too if they give future telling abilities.
Why not?
Why not?
I'll allow it.
Also, I was not sure because he says, "Oh, I'm not interested in saving the world. I have plans." I was like, so how did he know that if he got bitten by the spider, he would get the powers that he did?
He was looking for that spider
But why?
as well,
Like, but how?
because the rumor was that the
Oh.
spider gave you powers.
So he went all the way to fucking Peru
Well,
to.
listen.
Well, he must have, because he let the spider. We didn't see it, but he must have let the spider bite him,
Yeah, I would assume so.
yeah. The
and he knew about the las arañas, which
so that's
had
what
powers.
that's what I think. You can, not that I want to give the script any credit whatsoever,
It
but
does not
he
deserve
knew
it.
there were spider people, and he believes in them.
Okay, fine,
And
fine.
he knew there were powers to be had. And then
He's
he
also
probably went
vaguely
into,
vaguely Hispanic in his accent that is
100%.
overdubbed to hell
Yes.
and back. But yeah,
Oh God, we really should have started with that because that
Well,
was the opening of the movie.
listen, why don't we talk about it here?
The first line.
Was
like, wait.
everything.
I was like, do I have the wrong audio? Do I have closed captioning on,
Yeah.
or like for
I-
the hearing impaired?
I
the-
immediately remembered, the first Police Academy movie, and Michael Winslow going, "For this, you will pay a terrible price," but making like the voice
mouth,
like
yeah,
he
not-
was in an old kung fu movie, like badly dubbed. That's what it looked like. It was.
Yeah,
I had
like
to go back and double check. I was like, "That is no way that they overdubbed it this bad," but they did.
The opening. I think the opening line of the movie is him saying something while he's in the background of her, but his mouth can be seen and it's closed.
I didn't
I mean,
realize
Not
that.
it.
I wouldn't.
I think it's the opening line of the movie.
I wouldn't put it past the movie. I have a real legitimate question. Amaria, his assistant, they made her up in post, right?
Yeah,
Why do you think that?
because she's always shot. Like
Like-
they don't show her like how
Oh.
he finds her, how he meets her.
Like I
She's
think
just there.
I think that they have like 2 scenes together, 3 scenes together.
Yeah, and
that
I think
actually
they're all
matter.
they're all shot from the back. You're right.
So many times is he's talking to her, and you never see his face or his like mouth moving.
Oh, I wonder why. Like, I wonder why it was like. Was he that bad at like moving and talking at the same time that he needed to overdub what he said?
He can't do both. He can
Yeah.
move or talk.
Exactly.
That was in his contract.
None of his character or his assistant's character really made that much sense. And we'll get into her deal, what she provides to him later.
None of any
the
of
plot
the
holes.
characters' motivations made sense. I mean, I just want to point out my favorite part. This is
Yeah.
my favorite part of the movie. I just wanted to say this because we said parts that we couldn't say our favorite parts. So bad it's good part. This part made me actually laugh out loud and still does. So the whole movie, like the big real revelation in the movie is when she goes back in time and sees her mom.
Right.
And at no point did they show her having issues with her mom or
No.
like any sort of resentment towards her mom or
None.
anything. It's
Right.
just she just says her mom died in childbirth.
I know
So you
what you're
think,
gonna say.
you know,
I know exactly what you're gonna
she
say.
sees her mom for the first time in her entire life, and you're like, this is like a heartwarming moment. And the mom goes, like she feels a kick, and she's like, I'm trying to work, but she won't let me. She doesn't want me to work, but I'm still gonna get through it. And then the main character looks at her mom and goes, "Why did you hate me so much?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
It caught me so off guard.
completely earned.
And
100%.
and it's like
So
this is
funny.
another thing with Dakota Johnson's acting because she tries to be like exasperated or like anguished, but she just sounds bored, like she always does with everything.
Yeah.
Like as if she's
Why
saying
did
it to, like,
you hate me so much?
she's like, "Why did you hate me so much?" It's like, and it was the most like smallest line. Like she's like, "Ooh," she does a little kick. She's like, "She doesn't want me to work, but I'm gonna get through it." She's like, why did you hate me so
I
much?
enjoy that Dakota Johnson is not familiar with sarcasm or comedy. It really helps this movie
that was
to
comedic
move
genius.
along.
Yeah.
Move along. But don't
Oh
worry.
my
She
God.
was pulling like a Jack Nicholson or a Keanu Reeves in this. Like she was just being herself and phoning it in half the time.
Yeah, this was. Matt, I
in
have
her
to disagree with her
defense-
acting.
In her defense, I only said the first quarter. In her defense, this movie didn't justify making an effort. So
True, bringing her full self for one way.
Yeah,
to
I
put
mean,
it.
I imagine she signed on before reading the script because,
Well, I mean, she
Some
could
of
have
the
read a
dialogue-
script and
yeah, maybe an outline.
sure.
And there were so many lines that were like out of nowhere, like really, really, like when the doctor's telling her mom again in the flashback, she's like, "Your daughter's gonna be born with neuromuscular disorder," and
Yeah.
then Dakota Johnson goes, "But I don't have neuromuscular disorder," and it's like, yeah, like we know. It's like, who's that for?
So that's a good point because there's something that Matt said because I was watching it yesterday and I think Matt watched it yesterday too, and he pointed this out to me. I think the worst thing about this movie is that it treats everyone who's watching it like we're fucking idiots.
That's 100%.
Like
the movie's
from
goal.
beginning to end.
Yeah.
The movie goal. It's like an hour and a half of insulting us.
It's like, hey, how stupid do you think you are? Let's do a
We
test.
think you're more. We think
Yeah.
you're more.
We think you're
However
real
much you think.
stupid.
Yeah.
But
And
let's
yet,
see what
this movie
happens.
still confused me.
Well, it circled around. It circled around.
yeah.
I mean, how many people on this podcast didn't make the connection that Adam Scott was playing Ben Parker, aka Uncle
At,
Ben?
at least one of me
So Luciano didn't know that Uncle Ben was actually Uncle Ben.
did not. Like, I called him Uncle Ben when I was talking to this movie because I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, Uncle Ben. Adam Scott is such a good actor, but as Uncle Ben, he's really bad and nothing. Just blank.
No idea.
Parker, you said? Interesting last name.
So, looking here on IMDb, this movie is written by at least 3 people. And who knows what that means? Because obviously, if anybody writes a first treatment and then a second treatment, they get credit. But we don't know who exactly.
Mutual
to blame
assured
on this.
destruction.
Actually,
It's like no, if you say it was me, then I'll say it was you. That's, that's that kind of deal.
Well, I was going to say, if I'm honest, it's actually up to 7 when I click on it. 7
my
writing,
God.
7 writing credits between writing the screenplay and or story.
Well, I don't think this movie was written by humans for real. Like, but I don't think it was by AI. It was written by AI in 2003. Like the same logic.
Okay,
Because
that I can believe.
the people don't act or talk like human beings in this movie. It's like it was written by someone who's seen human beings, but
Well, this is my
Didn't
point.
fully grasp.
yeah, they didn't have a full interaction with them. Like they
Yeah.
they have a rough idea, and they're like telling a police sketch what a human is.
This is my point because I really like. I don't know the 3. Well, I mean, I know Sydney Sweeney, but like I don't know the other 2 actors that played the other 2 spider people that we find out through like flash
You
forwards.
can't call them spider people. That's against the law.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
You have to call them
web-
Las Arañas
web-
people.
Yes, people,
Web people.
web
Web
people.
people.
Yeah.
But like, their characters made no sense.
No,
Yeah.
It made no sense.
They just had a man try to murder them, and then they're like, "Nah, let's just go to a restaurant and dance on a table."
Not just try and murder them, because if like because I was thinking back, I'm like maybe they just didn't think it was a real threat, and she
Right.
just kind of convinced them. I'm like, no, he killed like 30 cops in front of them.
Yeah.
They watch.
they know
people
that-
die.
Instead of
Yeah.
trying to kill them, which was his.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, we
There
will.
will be a question later.
So they've seen this traumatizing event, and then they go, like, okay, they need food. I was like, okay, they can go to the diner, and then they're dancing. Just the 3 of them are dancing on a dining table, like,
Yeah.
and everyone else is just sitting around watching them. Like, I'm like, this is not a human thing.
No.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the moments where I was like, this is like what either a robot or like a 75-year-old man thinks what teens are doing.
Yeah,
Right?
I was gonna say that's like, oh, teenagers are idiots, so let's make them completely unreasonable and have no like fear or concept of anything else.
They didn't have phones in 2003. So what did they do? They danced on tables and diners.
That's the odds.
That's kids these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those one of many.
And,
I'm going
and
to call
then,
them inhuman moments.
and then like, Cassie goes in there, rescues them from that, and then just berates them the whole fucking way.
Yeah,
And they're like, as teenagers, they're all like, "We're sorry." Like, it's like, wait, weren't you just being rebels like 2 seconds ago? Am I
Yeah,
like all three of you are gonna behave exactly the same way every time? Like, what the fuck?
I'm not going to lie. The vision where the guy came in and killed them all was pretty satisfying. Right, I could have been the only one who felt that way, like because they're being such idiots.
It's like,
Well,
and then he
good, the
comes in and-
movie's over. We can go
Yeah,
home.
Yeah,
now.
we can go
exactly.
home. Yeah.
I'm like, no, just continue from here. This is a better movie. But yeah, when he comes in and just murders them all, and then it's like, I was like, okay, nice. Now I'm starting to like this guy. This guy who can't speak English, but like, with his mouth.
Yeah.
But like that whole scene where he's killing them, it's weird because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they're like all like movies nowadays, they try and have those like quip lines to be like,
Yep.
Marvel, but it works in Marvel because there's no real stakes in Marvel, and they're it's like usually it's like everyone's just it's like a fun experience. But in this movie, it's like a lot of people are getting killed,
Sure.
and like why they're getting killed, the girls are like, I don't like you. I know you. No, you know what? I do like you. Oh, you're probably just a rich girl. They're making these jokes at each other. It's like,
yeah, like
we just watch people
the
die.
banter. Yeah.
It's like you could see them trying to do the Marvel banter, but this movie was like clearly darker.
Well, the Marvel banter works because it's generally between people who are superheroes.
Yeah,
And
and
so-
it's not like when people are dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like this is you
It's
bring this up like
timing, right?
those they don't make any sense. Like they've been attacked by and almost killed by this guy twice.
They're
And
kids.
They're kids. But then everybody's like, "Hey, Mary Parker is about to have this baby 4 weeks early for reasons." Didn't see that coming. And everybody gets in the car together. They've successfully hidden from this guy for a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
And they all get in this car.
Go in public.
You've been almost murdered by a superhero, or not superhero, supervillain. He could be a superhero. We don't know. A supervillain who has powers you don't understand, and you're like,
Like 3
oh,
times.
the solution here is to go out in public.
And while they're driving, joking, making jokes.
It doesn't. It only phases them when he's there, and then right after it's like, okay,
It's like it's like the
Yep,
MIB
it's all-
like
yeah.
flash, Men in Black flash thing goes off, and they're all
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we're just kids having fun."
yeah, and it's like each of them is such a cartoon of the type of like teenager they're supposed to represent. Even in that scene where they're telling Cassie like that basically they're orphans, I guess, in a way. Even the rich girl, even Maddie, it was just like, oh, my parents are in China or whatever, so I'm essentially an orphan. Even then, the way that they flip flop between like having that super amped personality to like being just a cardboard cutout, and then back to that, it was very jarring, that scene to me.
Yeah,
Where
because
they
it was
go
like
like-
Rebel Moon exposition dub. Let's all drop our backgrounds one after the
Yeah.
other.
Because there was like this whole scene, like it was not like a light scene before, but it was like, oh, stuff is happening, and they get into the hotel, and then Sydney Sweeney Julia goes, my mom is crazy, she's in a psych ward. I'm like, whoa, what? Like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, okay, this is going to be serious. And then they go, serious, fucked up, serious, fucked. I'm like, what is it? They gave me whiplash.
Then Dakota Johnson's like, my mom hated me so much.
So much.
She
Much.
she goes like, oh, the foster care isn't that bad. I turned out okay. No, you didn't. You're crazy.
And then she's like, high five. And she's like, we're not there yet. It's like, ha. Is that a
Yeah.
joke? Are we
Well-
joking?
They tried.
Is part of the problem that none of them,
Are
Could-
funny?
yeah, like they didn't, the delivery and the landing of
There's-
the jokes were bad.
Well, they have no chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's what
definitely
it is.
that's definitely part of it. But the other part is that's not the jokes don't really fit in this theme of a story of a murdering monster chase. Like this should have been done like Terminator. You know,
Yeah.
you're not going to see Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese being like, ha, 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 high five. You know, like they're on the
Yeah.
run.
Look at those toaster heads. I
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
right?
I thought my toaster was bad. It burns my toast. But yeah, so it just doesn't, like, with this story, it doesn't make sense because they all seem like out of their element, running for their lives. They should all be terrified. That would have been a much more interesting movie.
Sure. I mean, part of the challenge here, I think, is that you've created an evil Spider-Man. Whoops.
Yeah, you can't say that. You're gonna
You've
get
given
sued.
him literally Spider-Man suit for reasons that are unclear.
No,
And
Aranya suit.
sorry,
Yeah.
thank you. And
Don't you know he's evil? It's a little darker than the usual
that's
one.
fair. It is a little darker. Yeah, thank you for the racial overtones of if you're
Yeah.
evil, you wear a
Well,
black suit.
I didn't
That
do
was
it.
really helpful.
I didn't
No,
do it.
you
The
didn't.
movie did it.
I'm saying thank
Almost
you
as
to
racist as the Night Monkey suit from Spider-Man 2.
yeah, but at least that was
Holy
funny.
shit!
Yeah.
Somehow.
How did that slide?
I don't know. But like, they've created this villain that is overpowered, right?
Yeah.
And we'll probably get into this later a bit too with the character powers. So I'm not going to go too far with it here, but just to say, like, the powers they give her and the powers they give him
Wildly unbalanced.
wildly
yeah.
unbalanced. And like, you want an underdog story, but this just doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah, they should all be dead like a million times over.
yeah.
I mean, you can say that, but if it was written well, the power to see the future could be like
Yeah.
completely
I can only talk
overpowered.
about the movie that was shown to me.
Yeah,
the movie
yeah.
that we got. Her power is like it only comes up
At the end,
randomly when people die.
after she goes to that suspiciously non-humid, non-hot Peruvian jungle that she goes to, where she's like her hair is perfectly fine, she's not sweaty at
Looks
all.
great.
And goes to speak to that Peruvian man who has a perfect North American accent.
And outfit.
She comes back and now she knows how to use the power. It doesn't show anything other than her, seeing her past, and now she knows how to do everything that she needs to do. But then, like, it would have been much more satisfying if she progressively learned how to use that power.
Yeah,
and
that in itself is a better movie.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
her gradually getting. I liked it better when the movie was called Next with Nicolas Cage, and it was done
Yeah.
way cooler.
yeah.
And they
Like-
should have just copied that movie because not a lot of people even like know that movie. I think nowadays, so
Probably. Yeah.
that would
Sure.
have been fine.
But yeah, she. I know what you mean, man. Like, it was like the only reason why those girls and Cassie aren't dead is because the villain's greatest flaw is he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
time and time again, he's like twice he sees her save the girls, and then his assistant or whatever goes, "Oh, I'm trying to get a beat on this woman. I don't care about her. They're
Yeah.
doing this somehow." Like,
The girl who ran you over with the car at with the perfect timing like twice.
This
Yeah.
is it really falls into the Morbius range of like police just wanting nothing to do with their jobs.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
this guy has one goal is to kill these kids so they don't kill him in the future and ruin all of everything he's built.
And
Spoiler alert.
she even lampshades it to a point
Yeah.
where she goes, "Ben, go as far away from us as possible. He's not going to care about you." And I thought, ooh, he's going to be smart and get him. And
Yeah.
nope. He looks at Ben, turns
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
and
yeah.
runs.
Back.
I was like,
No.
this can't be real. I was like, no, this is
No, he
not
said-
happening right now.
He looks at Ben, and then it cuts to the guy, the Spider-Man, and then it cuts back to where Ben was, and Ben's just gone. like he just like as if it's like a smoke shape
Yes.
of him. It's there.
yeah, like Looney Tunes. God.
he
Like,
pulls
I
a
was
Batman.
like-
He pulls a Batman.
Yeah,
on
I was
him.
like, oh, okay. Ben listened at least. He was like,
yeah.
bye.
Hey, one other question I have before we leave this section and get into our plot holes. Was there any need for this movie to be in 2003 other than to line up a timeline for another set of movies?
You mean other than being able to cram in a Britney Spears song for them to dance on?
I guess, but like, it's 2003 because we have to have Peter Parker born at the right
Right.
time, so that
Right.
Do we though? Like, are they trying to make it seem like it's
What other
yes,
reason
Tom
could it
Holland's
possibly be?
Spider-Man?
Well, why else would you said it in 2003? Who gives a
Yeah.
fuck? You could have said nothing. You don't have to put any years anywhere. It
They're
didn't
trying
matter.
to be topical about the NSA.
In 2003?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
because that's what it was
that
like.
makes it worse.
That's worse.
I know, but like they're like, oh, see, look, we're showing how the NSA was. We
if
didn't.
you
People
if
didn't
you
even know
told
then.
me if you told me that they were trying to make it work for the TSA, that's a different story.
yeah,
In 2003, but not the NSA with the technology to track everybody and whatnot. It was like, what? Where did that come from?
I don't know about you guys, but I, as an employee of a company with a security pass card, carry it literally everywhere I go at all times, just in case. So this movie made sense to me.
of course.
Yeah,
You
I
never know
want to
when you
be
need
tracked.
whenever you need to log in. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of another reason they wanted to have that one shot with Blockbuster in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
they wanted to have Dakota Johnson in like mum jeans. I don't know.
I mean, the whole vibe didn't even feel like 2003. Like, I bet you a lot of the cars in the movie weren't even were like modern.
well, that's the thing. I don't like. This is part of the thing about going back to 2003. Is like, other than the Britney Spears thing, and they had a poster of Beyonce at one point, which she's still relevant. So you don't know if you
Yeah,
catch it.
it's not far enough
They-
back to be
come on now.
relevant.
I take this back. I take it all back. They made that Martha Stewart joke about her going to jail.
Nice.
Oh, come the fuck on!
Yeah, they should have done more of that. Maybe not jokes, but like,
maybe talk about George W. Bush and
yeah, like references
Be-
to the times.
Be in 2003.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Lean into it. Like Miss Marvel kind of did it with the 90s.
But that's the thing. But that's like the 90s is far enough in the past that you can draw a difference. 2003 is far enough in the past that it's kind of like, okay, so there's like different shit going on, but it's not enough that you need to do anything special to get away with it, other than
Nah.
I guess showing
Nah,
Blockbuster.
you're just old. It's completely different. It's 20 years ago, man.
So,
That's like the same amount of time between when Marty McFly went back in time.
oh fuck, that's true. No, it went 30 years.
I mean, it's
Didn't he go
basically
from 83
85
to
to
60?
85 to 55.
Oh yeah, 55.
no. But what about when it went forward in the second movie?
It was 2016,
Eight.
2020. Oh, 2020. It was 2020,
Oh, okay, never mind. That's fine.
I think.
Way farther.
Damn you and your being right.
I'm sure
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend like you're wrong.
you're wrong.
It's
Okay.
the same as this time between Back to the Future when he goes back.
Okay, my bad.
20 years. No, but like I would have liked it better if it was 2003, like they were dressed like full out, like in the Britney, like the hair with the beads and the jean full denim outfits.
They tried with the girls, at least.
I didn't even
Yeah.
notice.
I mean, it's hard to tell, right? This is the problem with going back there. It's like it was clearly a gimmick, and this is what all of these movies do to some bad effect. And this one's really egregious. It's like your movie is trying so hard to be wink, wink, look at the thing
Yeah.
that it forgets that it has to tell a story, right? Like
Yeah.
at least Solo, well, it did waste time with pointing out like the dice are a thing and his last name's
Yeah.
a thing. They at least try to put a real story that was
Yeah.
somewhat interesting around it.
They failed, but they
They
tried.
tried. This
Hey,
didn't
no,
even
it's
try.
not that bad.
No, yeah, no. This movie was like a
Compared to
bunch.
this movie, Solo looks like the
It is a
fucking
masterpiece.
Godfather 1 and 2 combined
Yeah.
to one movie.
No, this movie is like, I don't know, 7 set pieces in a trench coat at best.
This movie was genuinely baffling. Like baffling. I was like, when I was watching it, I'm like, who is this movie for?
Yeah,
Like,
I was
really?
wondering that too.
Like,
Because it's like,
what is their target here?
it's like, okay, comic fans, but not really, because comic fans are gonna shit on every single stupid decision you make that
Yes.
isn't exactly like the comic.
And like Madam
So-
Web, like Madam Web
Yeah.
is only interesting in reference to Spider-Man. But you're trying to build up a Spider-Man universe, but you don't have the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
This whole Sony universe,
but
is-
it's
is just
Sony, so why
baffling.
don't they have? Like, I don't understand any of
But
it.
at least Venom was like self-contained, right?
Yeah,
But the worst thing that could have happened to the movie industry and maybe the world is the success of Venom. Because the success of Venom led to the creation
Yes.
of Morbius and Madam Web, and they made them think they can make these movies made of like antagonists
yeah.
and like side characters of Spider-Man.
They are, all of them think they're gonna have the next Guardian of the Galaxy, but all that they do is have the next Morbius.
But the thing is, like, Iron Man was a fucking B tier character until they made a wicked movie, right? Like, you could make good movie about Morbius.
No,
a
you
good
can't make
movie.
you can't make that analogy. That's like saying you could make a good movie of the Mandarin without having any rights to Iron Man.
Oh, I mean, I guess
You know, it's like saying you can make.
No, but, like-
I mean, technically, they did
But
do it
you
with the
don't
Joker.
need rights to Spider-Man to tell a story about Morbius. You can just tell a story about Morbius. Is he a popular character? No, but that doesn't mean it has to be tied
Yeah,
up
no,
in how bad it was, or like the same thing.
And also,
Yes.
it's better if they're not. If it's a less known character, it gives you more leeway to go do whatever you want, right? If you try to tell a Superman story where he was born not in Krypton but like in Venus, like you can't do that. But if you pick some like arm fall off boy, which is an actual thing, by the way,
Oh, we
and
know.
tell his story, like nobody knows him except for like comic nerds. So yeah.
Look at is it Peacemaker, the John Cena character?
yeah.
No one really knew anything about him, and they turned his character into a TV show.
Yeah,
series.
that's true. But also, those are heroes on their own. They're not like
Yeah, it's hard to
Like-
tell a story about a villain. Yeah.
But Madam
but,
Web's not a villain. She's a
not.
hero. They
Well,
just-
she's neither, right?
That's true.
In the comic.
Sure, that's fair, but like they just did they did a really bad job of telling a story about her because they wanted it to matter to the Spider-Man universe.
I mean, you're right. If you have a good script and a good team, you're going to make a good movie. You know, if you have a good story to tell, it
And you gotta
doesn't
make
really
good-
matter.
you gotta make good
they,
choices.
They had none of those things.
But they're none of those things. But also, they're not trying to tell a self-contained story. Like they're trying to like lean on this attachment to Spider-Man, which
Yeah, of course.
they don't have access to. And I think they think that if they make it like a successful enough movies, that Disney will want to bring them in, like they kind of almost did with Venom, right? Because Venom made like
Maybe.
$1 billion, and Disney was like, "Oh, maybe we can get some of that cheddar." So maybe if Madam Web, and they
Maybe.
think if Madam Web and Morbius make $1 billion, then they can be like, now they're part of the MCU.
maybe.
And-
Shh! Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. And the thing is, kind of like, so it's not that it was well done, but like they used Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness to kind of really, and Loki, right? To kind of introduce the whole multiverse thing.
Mhm.
And Madam Web was the perfect way to introduce the whole, which is tied to the multiverse, the Web
Sure.
of Life and
Yeah.
Destiny thing.
Sure.
She was the perfect character and this was the perfect movie to do that. And when she kind of plummets there into the water and then she activates her power and they show the web, I was like, oh, they're going to actually show this. And they literally only show it once and never again, never talk about it. They don't talk about why she has those powers. They don't talk about the
Spiders.
spider totems and all that shit.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Yeah, it's
Spiders.
Las Arañas.
Yeah.
I thought when they said they're like you when the guy said when you get control of your responsibility or whatever the fuck he said, and she's like, oh, okay, I can be multiple places at once. I thought she was going to be existing in multiple universes.
That's
at
what I
once.
thought too.
Bro.
But instead, she just
No,
physically
that was
makes
just so she could use
three
that power at the end
in that
because
one
you're an
time.
idiot. Because clearly you're an idiot because you're watching this movie.
First of all,
So
if they took time out of this movie to teach these girls CPR, just so
Yeah.
they could use it at the end,
yeah,
of course they're going to be as literal
This-
as possible.
like
every
this
step of
movie
the way.
doesn't understand the word foreshadowing. It's not foreshadowing. It's like telling the thing that's gonna happen later and putting neon signs around it. Is like, hey, pay
Yeah.
attention to this because it's gonna come back again.
Here's a gun. It shoots people. It can shoot the bad guy. The bad guy takes guns, takes bullets. He dies.
Yeah.
let's-
Maybe use it.
Let's get into this because there are two plot holes we need to cover, and we want enough time to cover them both.
Yeah.
Listen, they are big, and I find us falling back on this one a lot. And to those audience listeners who say, "Why do you keep doing that?" I say, "Fuck you, sir, or madame,
or madam, or else.
or madam, or
Or
whatever."
Madame Webb.
because it's not our fault these movies don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And so the first plot hole here is It's 2003, and I don't know how technology works.
Yeah.
I
Neither-
haven't a fucking clue.
Neither do they.
Well, that's
clearly.
good. So, we have the ability to tap into every video camera in the world and see everything in real time in 2003
Right.
because of that one NSA chick who couldn't keep it in her pants, apparently. How he got that technology, don't worry about that.
That was Jesus Christ.
But it doesn't work. Kind of.
Well, I mean, does it not work, or is his assistant just bad at her job?
I mean, that could also
Maybe both.
be an option because it's
She does
described.
find the girls.
She does, but it's described basically like it's 2024 technology, but you just
Literally,
can't
just
see everybody all the time.
So, if you remember, I think it was on Batman Begins, which was around like 2005, something like that. That's when it came out, and like Batman, like Wayne Industries had a similar but not nearly as powerful technology. And
Are you talking about the one that he like makes phones into GPS devices?
Yeah.
That's a Dark Knight, you fool, and that was
Is it
2008.
Is it Dark Knight? Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's
even
how he
worse.
finds the Joker.
Is even worse because it's later. But like in this one, and this pissed me off, and I know it's the detail, but you know, it's me. She
I'll allow it.
says we can find them if they go in front of any camera anywhere in the world. And I was like, the fuck are you telling me there's some fucking ATM in Bulgaria that they can see? Fuck you. What the hell?
I'm pretty sure that in order to use that technology like that, you would need some sort of AI program to
Oh yeah.
to
And
like
it's not like AI didn't exist back then, but it was
Yeah.
not nearly as advanced as it is now.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the job she's doing in 2003 would take like a
Months.
full team of people
Yeah.
and like a ton of time. Like, yeah, they're not just like, oh, this person showed up on on the corner of 6th and 7th at 10
Well,
o'clock.
She goes, oh, let me pull up the descriptions you gave me from their vision from your vision.
This is a point of contention.
fucking pictures. Like I was like, holy shit, they have dream scanning technology.
They
in
didn't
this?
even bother to try to like draw something, lifelike portrait.
no.
Just a picture.
A picture, yeah, like with all of the details, like shadows.
They should have
Yeah.
just said, here are the girls. They shouldn't even have said that
Yeah.
you described to me from your dreams.
Yeah,
I put in these pictures of the 3 girls, and this is what I came up with.
Yeah.
Like saying that what you described from your dreams just makes it even.
He talked about his
more
dreams too
stupid.
much.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then she goes, okay, wait a minute. Let me show you what they look like right now. Clack, 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 boom. Like, de-aged, without the masks and all that. I was like, the NSA has had this technology since 2003? What the fuck?
How long
Yeah.
did it take them to catch Osama? Like it's just
Yeah,
way
right?
faster.
Yeah, that's
I was
why
just-
they took so long to catch Osama, because he stole the technology. That's why.
I was just thinking about that scene in The Simpsons where the guys are on the computer. They're like, he was 45 and that was 20 years ago. So according to our computer analytics, he should be, and he turns around the corner, 25 years old. It just says 25 on the screen.
That would have been better. That would have been better. Yeah.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah. I was so pissed off with that scene with the visions. Things like,
Yeah, the NSA, like that, for one, that was just like so unnecessary and totally like stood apart from the entire movie on its own. Like it was completely unneeded. He could have just been tracking them.
yeah.
Like why did he have to? His whole story of him like finding a woman to hack the NSA. I couldn't find them until the NSA was created, and now I can find them. It's like, wait, what? Who wrote this? Was this written by AI again? It's like trying to like play up their ancestors.
So this wasn't the only egregious use of technology, right?
Oh God, no.
Do you want to talk about them, or should I just keep bringing them up?
No, you bring them up. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't pay enough attention.
You didn't? Did you even watch this movie, Spencer?
Hey, there we go.
I mean,
Bingo cards complete.
I'm not gonna lie. I did watch this movie, but it was tough. It was hard. It was hard to like keep focused on the movie, like genuinely.
It's funny because to me, I was so flabbergasted that I couldn't take my like watching a car crash. That was what it felt like. Yeah.
Like how a car crash that happens when the dump truck that hits an ambulance. If it hadn't hit the ambulance, it would have gone crashing into the river.
Yeah. Like where was he driving? I don't know.
How many car crashes were in this movie? Because you're mentioning another one. I think there's at least 4 I know of.
There's that one. There's the ambulance one. There's the taxi one. You're counting the one where the crash had already happened and she just fell from a car into the water, which, okay.
Well, that's another crash. It's a car that crashed into the water.
I mean, I think you're using that very liberally, but I'll allow it.
So 4.
Yeah.
Well, there was also the crash when they run the lights, which happened just before the ambulance crashes.
That's right. Yep.
A lot of car crashes.
They all of a sudden have the power to turn off all the lights in the city, which they didn't, or change the lights in the city. Which,
that's good segue.
Oh yeah,
that brings us back to technology.
I forgot about that.
You can control all the
Turn
stoplights.
all the lights green. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he patches
enter. Just press enter.
But he's also able to patch into like the very specific police like dispatch board.
Fucking Churchill, New Jersey, or whatever.
I'm not sure if that's a real city. I tried to find it, could not find it.
That's
I wanted to know
if you're listening from Churchill, New Jersey, you call us in,
please.
You verify
because I wanted to know. She said I'll be back in 3 hours. They were in the dead of a fucking forest, and I wanted to know how far you'd have to drive out of New York City to get to a fucking
into
forest.
like a forest like that. Yeah, that's a good question.
And so another question. I don't know if you guys noticed this. The day. So, if I remember the timing correctly, she kidnaps the girls, quote unquote, from the train.
Right.
They drive to the forest, and then the girls go to the diner. How did that man have a newspaper
with their pictures?
Oh yeah, that's true. I never thought of that. Like it was not like did they print a late extra edition?
No, this is 2003. Prints on its fucking last legs. So no one's printing multiple papers a day. It's just the internet. Why he never looked at a phone?
And you know the worst is they could have just had a TV playing something there.
Yeah, they could have had a TV, or you could have had a computer because they had computers.
Oh yeah,
in 2003.
100%. It's so like I'm curious on how that. I guess it's not technology to print newspapers, but how it got to him so quickly. Maybe that's the tech. Maybe he had a drone drop it off. I don't.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. What is there any other technology I'm not thinking of that just blew my mind?
So they were very careful to show the stupid like Bluetooth thingy he puts in his ear when he's talking to her.
Sure.
But then in the subway, when she's like sees the girls the first time, there's this guy. He's clearly playing like Fruit Ninja on that on that cell phone. And I was like, this is a bit early. I don't know. Do you guys remember if there was like actual games you could play like that on the cell phone in 2003? I don't think there was.
I don't know. Definitely not.
Right?
Maybe you could play Snake on a cell phone,
or like Tetris, or maybe something like that, but not like a game where he's like pew 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 pew. Like what the fuck?
Unwatchable. This movie's unwatchable. He's like Fruit Ninja 2003.
I feel like
that's the last straw.
That's the last
lost that mark
straw. Cross the line.
I don't know if this is technology, but I do want to point out the trip that she makes to Peru.
Oh yeah, the early 2000s, notoriously easy time to get into a plane and fly somewhere.
Yeah, 9/11 happened like 2015, right?
No, yeah, totally. I was like, wait, Matt, what? Yeah, 2 years after 9/11, she's a wanted criminal, wanted for kidnapping, who flies to Peru and back in like a day?
Oh, yeah, 2 days, something like that?
Well, she said she'd be back in a week.
Right.
So
that's a huge plot hole as well. Like he's like catching them every 2 seconds, and then she's like, "I'm going to go for a week," and then he can't find them.
Yeah, because he's only looking for her. He's only looking for them, not for her, because he doesn't care about her.
Right.
No, why he couldn't find
Because he's
them?
dumb.
But he couldn't find them without her being there.
Yeah, I mean, how hard is it to find them? They were
I
at
know.
they're at her only known associate and family member.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
the
and
one-
that was
her work partner.
her one work friend she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the other one died when the truck was going to go into the pier. So yeah.
It's like they're like we looked at the girls' parents' homes and any known associate of the girls. But what about
That's
that
what I'm
woman
saying.
who's been keeping them
She's invisible. No,
safe
she's
the entire
Yeah.
time?
like he
I have no
literally
interest in
said
her.
he literally says I don't. He has that. He says I don't care about her.
But she's leading them. I said I don't care.
Yeah. He only cares when she says her name is Cassandra Webb. Webb. That's impossible. And he's like,
Webb?
okay, must be impossible then.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Web spiders have webs.
Yeah, Webb is such a unique last name, and no one else could possibly have it.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Los arañas have webs.
All right.
No,
no.
I was also like, it was like, I'll take the girls. I'll take them to Mary's house. He's
They'll
never
never
gonna
find
find
them.
her
Yeah.
there. And I was
He was
like,
right.
how do you know?
But he was right.
But it's like, how do you don't
When you
even know
know,
how
you
they're
know.
finding them? Like, this is 2003. You don't even know what a computer is.
Uncle Ben, he knew.
He's got great power and great
Yeah, I was
responsibility.
gonna ask: is it because he has great power,
No,
or
he
is it
doesn't.
because he got great responsibility?
If you
That's
have
how he got the
responsibility, you get powers. We've learned in this movie. So he had a lot of responsibility with the girls. He got powers. What they
power?
are?
Okay.
That's our segue into character powers because I don't
what the fuck.
understand them.
What the fuck?
That was
Yeah.
a
I
very
got a
professional
lot.
segue.
That was fantastic.
I'd like to thank myself on that one. Spencer, let me ask you a very direct question.
yes.
Actually, I'll let you pick.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about Ezekiel Sims' powers or do we want to talk about Cassandra Webb's powers?
Now, obviously, the most people would say that the easiest plot hole would be Cassandra. What's her name?
Webb.
Webb. Oh yeah, like a spider.
The movie might be named
Madame
after
Webb.
her.
I was thinking Cassandra Cain. Yeah, we just said Cassandra Webb. That was completely genuine. But
is
I'm
your
gonna
last
go with
name Sims? Tell me the truth.
that's impossible.
I don't care about her.
I don't care about her. Where are the girls? No, I'm gonna pick Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah.
Because his powers genuinely confused me and broke the movie the most for me.
100%.
Because I don't
Definitely.
understand, let alone his character, which obviously there is nothing.
Yeah,
But what
it's
his
a
powers
cardboard
are-
cutout.
He becomes non-legally binding Spider-Man. and
Arachnid person.
yeah, arachnid boy.
Great.
And then
Love it.
he gets the power to see the future, like
But only in his
Madame
dreams.
Webb, but only in his dreams, which confused me in
Well,
itself.
Sure.
Because I thought he had the power to see the future too. But then at the end, it's like, oh no, that future you saw is just not
Well,
correct.
that the well-spoken Peruvian man explains. He
Does
says,
he?
yeah, he says to Cassandra, you have the power to change the future. He says to her, like with every word, he says that.
Okay.
So
Follow-up
if-
question.
yeah,
Okay.
They both have the same spider venom or peptides. Sorry, spider peptides.
you know the whole point of Spider-Man is he has the powers that a spider has.
right.
Spiders
So
can't see
Are
the
you
future.
saying what do you mean? How do you know?
we don't know if the spider can see the future.
You
We
know what?
assume it
You're
can.
right.
So this spider
Every
peptide,
spider I killed was suicidal.
this spider peptide that they have in them, he has it pure and uncut. She got it filtered through her mom, which whatever. I guess that's the better way to get it. But
Nice.
but so if they can both see the future, why can only she change it? Why can't he change the future if he has the same powers?
Now are you asking? You're asking for too much logic and sense
No,
from
no.
this movie.
But we're talking about plot holes, so we're trying to
It's
fix
like-
them.
I know.
It's like fentanyl, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Oh
You
wow.
can't just take it pure. You got to cut
Right.
it
With like,
with like a woman's amniotic fluid.
wow.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So when
Fair.
she cut
When
that
you're right, you're right.
pure spider venom,
Yeah.
the time venom that some might call it,
Right.
with the amniotic fluids in the birthing canal, I don't know if this.
What are
any
you
of this is accurate.
talking about?
If I know anything that three white men are experts on, it's childbirth.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That is what allowed her to utilize the full capabilities of the
Right.
time venom.
And the only way you can get the full pure uncut time venom is the other person has to die.
Yes,
Well,
obviously.
first of all, you have to be born, or you not born, but you have to develop in utero a musculatory
Ooh,
degenerative
good point.
disease
Good point.
first.
Well,
Right.
that's also yeah. That's
And then your mom has to be bitten in the chest by the
You know
spider. A bite so loud that we could hear it. In the, with
Spider
sound
really got in
effects.
this is all very akin to the Dune magic liquid that the girl drinks while the baby's in utero, and then the baby
Yeah.
gets powers.
Oh.
It's very
They're just-
similar.
Are you saying they're in the same universe?
I'm saying it's in the same non-Spider-Man universe.
Whom-
It's not in the same
whom-
universe as Spider-Man, but it is in the same universe as Dune.
Whom is Lisa Al Gaib in this movie? That's the question I want to answer.
It's her. It's her. Obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
Lisan Arachnid.
Nice. Well done.
Well done. So I want to talk about his powers a bit more before we go and tackle Cassandra. What's her face? So he can walk on walls upside down. Classic Spider-Man power. Got it.
Right.
He apparently has super strength.
Yeah, that's clear.
So I have a follow-up question. How come he couldn't lift the Pepsi letter off him at the end of the movie?
Because no one could live the refreshing taste of Pepsi Cola.
Oh no. It's sponsored. We didn't know this.
Oh shit! Not again.
Yeah. He also couldn't lift like 3 small rocks from on top of him
That's
that
correct.
drop on him.
Right.
Also, apparently, he can like poison people with his hands,
Sure can.
but not all the
yeah.
time
Only when
yeah.
it feels like it.
because he holds her hand for like half a second, and she's like always like wringing it. But then he holds her by the neck for like a good like 10, 15 seconds. Nothing happens.
Why did he even add that? He didn't even use it.
No, he
Use it
killed
that one time.
He
killed
used
the
it
NSA
on
woman.
the NSA woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's it. That's
Did
about
he?
it.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, technically he fake killed. What's her name? Maddie Franklin.
When?
I don't-
One of
I
the
don't know who it
teenagers.
is.
When?
In the
You gotta be way
diner
more specific.
before.
Oh, in the vision. Okay.
yeah, in the vision.
Okay. True. Yeah.
Spencer. Okay, let me help you, Spencer.
Not Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney is Julia Cornwall,
Not
Okay.
Sydney Sweeney.
and then Isabella Merced
Yeah.
is Anya Corazon,
Yes.
and
Okay.
then Celeste O'Connor is Maddie Franklin.
Yeah.
Maddie,
Maddie Franklin
Franklin
is the one that becomes Spider Woman.
That's correct. Well, so
They
does
all do. They
Julia
all do.
Cornwall.
Oh God.
Technically,
Well,
Anya
technically,
is Spider Girl.
Spider Girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can they say
And-
Spider Woman
Ju-
or Spider Girl?
And Julia Cornwall is Arachne more
Yeah,
than
technically.
anything else.
Anyways,
yeah.
no, they can't.
I feel like this movie was written by a team of lawyers to get as close to like being
Well, I mean,
able to
that's
use Spider
they
Woman.
had lawyers over
without-
the shoulder for sure.
I think that's 100% accurate.
Like, how would they know? They're like, oh, you can show them, but you can't say their names.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty easy.
I'm surprised
like-
they didn't throw Jessica Drew there.
But they would have to go like through the legal contracts while writing the movie for that to like. It wasn't like a creative choice.
Well, no, I actually think a lot of the legal constructs were set up when Spider-Man was transferred back to Marvel, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But when they
Yeah.
wrote this movie, they had to have the contract in hand.
Sure, yeah, they
It
probably
wasn't like they had a vision.
Wait,
They're like,
Spider-Man is back with Marvel? I thought he was still with Sony.
No, but Sony licensed Spider-Man to Marvel, but I'm sure there were
Oh, okay.
rules when Marvel took it to make Spider-Man successful and just pay Sony whatever amount of money.
when they took Spider-Man and did something with it.
Right, it's like how when Sony got the X-Men, they got the rights to the word mutant, right? And so
Yeah.
for the longest time, they never used the M word. What do they call them? Metahumans, I think was the term
Metahumans, yeah.
in the Marvelverse.
Yeah, because they had to introduce Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, right?
Yeah. And so like it's that sort of legalese they went through. That's not important. The important part here is Cassandra Webb's powers, and I'm going to use the segue of the weird force time shit they do in the diner, where they talk to each other about the past and the present.
I did not
Well,
understand that either. She was
Oh, boy.
sleeping, but was she actually sleeping, or was it a trance, or
Sure.
what the fuck was going on there?
Maybe. Like,
It's called lazy exposition. Is
Yeah,
what it's
yeah, yeah.
called.
but she hadn't even gone to fucking Peru to learn if she had a lot of responsibilities, then she'd get more cool powers.
Imagine she took it literally. She's like, I'm gonna adopt another kid. Just take up more responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get 4 jobs.
I got a dog, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Start a charity.
yeah, maybe donate money to the kids in Africa.
That's not a responsibility. You have to open a charity of your own.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
and then steal the money illegally. And you're like, oh, I'm responsible
Look,
for
I
this crime.
have so much responsibility now. I'm the king of the world. Yeah.
I'm legally responsible for all these crimes I've committed. I'm
Maybe that's
unlimited
why,
power.
Maybe that's why she kept stealing like utility vehicles.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, the thing I just don't get when it comes to powers, and
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. Do the Las Arman? What are their names? Arañas?
Yes.
Did they have the ability to see the future?
They never said.
No, but probably.
So it seems to me this is the part that makes no sense to me.
Sure.
only this one.
This particular part.
Okay.
From my understanding, when you get bit by a radioactive spider or a super Peruvian spider, you get spider powers.
Yeah.
Why did she get the power to see the future with no spider powers?
Because the part of the spider powers that were going to manifest cured her muscular thing disease.
Her
Yeah.
neuromuscular disorder.
So
Yeah.
her spider powers are currently keeping her neuromuscular disorder at bay.
Yes.
Okay, that still doesn't explain.
No,
why
it doesn't.
A spider
of course
would give you.
It fucking
No,
doesn't.
I'll allow it for why she doesn't have spider powers.
Okay, so
But it
let's
doesn't
take
explain why spiders' powers would give you future telling ability.
let's take a step back here, because the heart of your question, which is actually very valid, is that this movie spends no time showing you anything to give you
No.
logic, right? The movie's like, if a spider does things to you, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right? Her mom goes to look for a cure for her disease, and the spiders give the Las Arañas the ability to be spiders. They say that, right? Like, they look like spiders, they act like spiders. Powers are all there.
Their
And then
vines grow like spider suits.
whatever.
Like Spider-Man suits from the
Yeah.
1990s.
Yes.
So they tell us that. Great. So we now know, based on this exposition that's actually handled well, she's explaining why they're there, what they're looking for the spider for. Great. We know.
Right.
They set that expectation. And then she falls in the water and she can tell time.
See- You can tell
can
time.
tell time. She's a
You
clock.
can read a watch.
Madam Clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone has a digital watch and they're like, I can tell the time, but I don't know what that means. It's like an old fashioned clock. She's like, I'll handle this.
Yeah.
Got this. So that fine. That's our first stretch. But it's maybe allowable in the sense that this is Madam Web, and her power, her claim to fame power is the ability to see into the future. So we're like, that's weird, but okay, that's the character. And then as we go through the movie, they give her more powers for no reason. They don't explain.
she can clone herself.
There is a reason. It's more responsibility.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fair. You've got me on that one. That is true. The
I award
reason
you a
is
point for that.
responsibility. So I'll award you 1 point for that. But they don't explain the powers. They don't explain anybody's powers, right? Like the psychic connection thing just happens. No one explains it. No one talks about it. She doesn't even talk about it after it happens.
Yeah.
Because they added it in post.
Yeah.
Like, this
That
movie
was-
doesn't make any goddamn sense.
And then she gets the responsibility, and so she's able to split herself and go off and help each one of
pick
those
To pick
kids.
up 3 girls.
Yes.
They could have just done it themselves, more likely, but somehow not defend herself from being punched directly in the chest. But he waits long enough for her to go run off 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm-
She's also like prescient enough that she can like almost Captain America block the things where she's walking,
Yes.
which is it's pretty badass. I'm gonna say the way she does it. But then when she's in the water and one of those are shooting directly into her face,
Can't
she's
fucking
like,
see it
"No,
coming."
I'm tapped out."
Yeah.
It's so hard to stay on topic here, but I'm gonna. This is kind of on topic, but not what we were originally talking about.
Okay.
yeah, like how hard is it? Like it was set up so not perfectly, but it was set up to have her gain that responsibility and thus the power in the final act to
Right.
defeat the bad guy.
Right.
But instead, they use it to pick up the 4 girls, and then that power becomes completely useless. And instead, she uses a Pepsi sign to defeat the bad guy.
Hey man, she saw that Pepsi sign like 10 minutes before, so she had
Yeah.
to stick to her plan.
Like it's so clear to have like a Neo Matrix moment where she's like finally can see all of time, and then
Yeah.
she can defeat him by like knowing every move he's gonna make, and then also cloning herself for some reason.
I'm going to take you down a weird path here, and Luciano will know where I'm going.
I know exactly where you're going
Right.
before you
So,
even go.
so there's a series of novels that the main is a wizard, but Alex Virus.
Yeah.
And he can basically see time. He can see. It's not exactly time. He was it clairvoyance? Is that the thing?
Yeah,
Or-
he can see possible futures based on a specific like
right.
So
scene
Dune.
or situation. Yeah, kind of like
A
Bullet
little
Atreides,
bit,
yeah.
So he basically, the way the book describes it is that he looks at what happens and the choices made from that, and so if the choice is to cross the street or not to cross the street, and then it's like what happens if you cross the street, all the branching choices, and so he's trained
Yeah.
himself enough that he can go through all these in like milliseconds. But like, I would have been nice to see her like play out more than one potential future and then pick the right avenue
Yeah.
to successfully win, not just see the future and be like, oh, this is the one true path all the way
Yeah.
through.
Because it doesn't look like she's looking at the future. It looks like she's like planning ahead and knowing what will happen without knowing that, oh, I have to do this so that happens. It's almost like I'm going to do this so that will happen. And
Yeah,
then
matters up
immediately
until
follows.
The
Yeah.
Pepsi sign falls.
Yeah.
You want to see the House of Cards built
Yeah.
to like
And
reach the
it's-
Pepsi sign.
And it's so funny that the movie kind of does the effort to show you, hey, this is the power. Like she sees the web and like time moves forward and it reels back and it jars her. And then when it gets to the fireworks factory, she's just like all of a sudden on clairvoyance mode. And I'm just like, wait, she's using her powers. There's like no signal at all that she's using any power. She doesn't
Yeah.
glow. She doesn't like say anything. She's just guessing right a ton,
yeah,
which feels like she doesn't have any powers.
It would have been fine if that's how it always went. Like, especially after, like, if she got better and better throughout
Yeah.
the movie, and it was like less and less sort of like arcane or glaring, and it became second nature to her. Then when she got to the end, she's like doing all of this like
Yeah.
depression thing. But no,
Maybe she-
it goes like she goes to Peru,
She got
No
trained
TSA.
in Peru for a couple
No.
days.
no TSA,
no.
My bad.
and then she comes back is like, no, I got this now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no
Responsibility.
like indication of why. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many like frameworks you could have leaned on for that too. Like Groundhog Day is an example of showing somebody who's like learning by
Yeah.
doing it multiple times. Like I said, that movie Next, even though it's not a great movie, it does what we're describing, like where it shows him making the choices. It's kind of like in that Sherlock Holmes movie where he's like thinking before he fights. He's like seeing all the potential
Yes, 100%.
moves, and it's like it can be done, but instead it was just so lazy. They're like, nah, she's got it. Now just show her do it.
They
The
ran out of
audience knows.
budget to do any more effects. We spent our money
Maybe.
on the Pepsi side. What do you want from us?
Yeah, exactly. We sold our souls as much as we can.
Yeah, it's
She
it,
beat the
And-
villain with
and-
Pepsi sign. I mean,
and
how much
with-
more can we give?
and with all of that, like they didn't even try to factor in, okay, so you can see the future and you can play out multiple futures in your head in a way, like try to explain it. Okay, so because of this, now you can like be in multiple places at the same time. And we all have the multiverse. Like it could have been like, no, I'm gonna do this in a way that I travel in different directions
Yeah.
in time or what. No, it's just like some fucking ghostly tendrils shit.
Physically, literally just physically 3 more of her to pick
Yeah.
up the girls. Like just to be like, let me help
That's
you. Yeah, I thought originally that also it would have been much cooler if you, because multiverse would have made this movie's already, it's hard. They're having a hard enough time telling this story. Introducing a multiverse would have been too fucked. But having her exist at multiple points in time at once,
Yeah,
like from her
yeah.
point of view,
Something, right?
would
Something
have been.
like
She's like
tie it.
jumping. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like she's setting all these pieces together by jumping back and forward in time to lay this like bridge work for the whole movie. You know,
And
it
it
turns out
should, and
everything
it
in
should
the movie
also
was
have been
planned.
like super taxing, right? Where it's like, okay, this is like sort of like an ultimate use of that power because
Yeah.
it's so hard. And
That's why she was
can't, like-
blind.
Well, oh yeah, there you
Instead
go.
of getting hit with a firework.
In the water.
Firework made her paralyzed. Of course, it blinded her.
Yeah, exactly. Blinded and
Yeah,
paralyzed her.
it hit her in the face and she got paralyzed from the waist down. I was like, what?
I have one final question on character powers.
Character power.
Character powers. Cassandra Webb, at the end of the movie, she's become one with the power. She can see all and be all. They give when the kids come up and they bring food, she sees everything. She's now becoming
Bless
fucking
you.
yeah.
Yeah, that was so dumb. I was so,
dumb,
mad
right?
at that.
So dumb.
Yeah.
But she sees everything everywhere. How come she doesn't tell her old buddy Ben?
Yeah.
No, she makes a joke about it.
Yeah,
She
that's,
does?
That's horrible.
yeah. She makes a joke about it instead of just like, hey man, you might get shot. Just a heads up. I can
Yeah.
change the future, but fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But you brought me to that baby shower, and I didn't want to go. So
That's
fuck.
on
Hey,
you,
fair.
man.
Hey, fair. That's
you.
fair.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
I'm more for Luciano because you may know this more. Does Madame Web get the ability to see the future in the comics by getting bitten by a spider as well?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think her connection is to the web of life and destiny, not to. So, like, I'm not going to get into this because I don't. First of all, I don't know a whole lot about it, but two, it's long. But in the comics, Peter Parker is actually one of the spider totems, and there's a whole thing where there's this web that connects all of the multiverses and all that stuff. And she is attuned to that.
Let me make it real simple for you. She's a
I
mutant.
retract my question.
Is she a mute?
She's a mutant. Yeah.
They can't say that word. She's a
No,
metahuman.
they have that word. That's
No.
their word.
Yeah,
That's their word.
the M word.
Yes.
Yeah, you get use
I
the M
didn't know
word.
she was a mutant. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, I just did a quick Google. Yeah, she has her powers.
but her powers are connected to the web, right? Specifically,
The World Wide Web.
Yeah.
that too.
WWWEB, Madam Web.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean, that-
yeah, it's
again,
not. It's
that
not.
makes
She's
more
not
sense.
bitten by a spider at all. No.
Yeah, because that's fucking stupid. Because spiders give you spider powers, and spiders can't tell the
It's,
future.
it's funny how literally the beginning of this movie is wrong and everything
Yeah.
that happens after it becomes more wrong. It's like,
Yeah.
I understand that you should be able to tell different stories for your comic heroes, but like there was no good reason it didn't impact her powers for her to be bitten by a spider.
She
Her
could have
mom.
been born with them. Right?
That's how a mutant is. Yeah, none of that made any sense to change
Yeah.
other than to make her like Peter Parker.
And she is blind and she's paralyzed, right? In the
Sure.
comics.
Well,
It's part of the
Fireworks.
mutation. I would
fireworks,
say.
bro.
There's an interesting
Watch out.
idea.
Fireworks.
Have her be
yeah.
born paralyzed and blind and with powers.
Exactly.
Very-
yeah.
And that's an interesting
Spencer, fuck you. We don't have any time for your lies.
Sorry.
We're gonna move on.
Your lies.
Those were questions.
We're gonna move on. No, those are not questions. My first question for you: if you're at a bridal shower and everyone's putting their first memory of their mom into a bowl, why do you put a blank paper? Would you just not put anything in?
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's fine. And I just want you don't have to answer it. It's
She
too
wanted-
difficult. I get it.
I think
when
she
you
wanted
wa-
to
when you
cringe
wanna-
everybody out.
Yeah, you want to say fuck you. You
Yeah.
put in an empty piece of paper when they call on you. You tell them that your mother died, and then you make them feel bad.
That's
No,
true.
you tell the mother to be that
Yeah.
her mom died in childbirth, but it's
Yeah.
very rare.
Yeah, you'll be
Very
fine.
rare. It's very
Like
rare, very painful.
I
Yeah.
took like 30 minutes to watch that scene because I had to pause so much from the cringe.
It's
I was
fine.
jumping out of my skin.
It's fine. Let's move on. I have a real question for you. Who Ezekiel Sims? Why Ezekiel Sims? How Ezekiel
Every time.
Sims? When Ezekiel Sims? What Ezekiel Sims? Why
Really?
Ezekiel Sims?
Am I the only one who thought that Ezekiel Sims was from the future?
Yeah, I thought
Where'd
it
you
was
get
from.
that?
I thought it
don't know,
was
I-
not from the Actors Guild.
Oh,
from
because
acting.
his spider suit was like Spider Man's. Like his suit
Yeah.
was like too modern.
I thought it was like Spider-Man's suit, so he was like somehow like a variant of Spider-Man, and I thought that because the scene where he sees them, where he's like gets killed by them, he's old, so I thought he like somehow time traveled.
Right. So it's like a Flash scenario with Reverse Flash.
Yeah, something along those lines. And then I
Yeah.
slowly
Oh.
realized that there's no time travel in this movie except what's it called, premonitions.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that doesn't answer your question. It's just I that's just how misrepresented he was as a character.
Well, I mean, his misrepresentation started at his fucking voice.
Yeah, yeah. That's like it's hard to get more like worse than you act. You stand there and look pretty. We'll do your voiceover for you somehow.
Yeah,
in a vaguely Hispanic accent.
That is basically where this question comes from, because like you can't overdub one of your main characters and
That
make
badly.
him matter. Well, how could you overdub well, right? The whole thing,
Well,
like,
I mean, it's normal to overdub like the exact same line when there was like a problem with the audio
Sure.
and everything. But like
that's
you
not
can't.
that's not what they were doing.
No, they were changing the dialogue, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the part. Yeah, you can re-record all the lines if they sound bad.
100%.
People do it. I think they did it for Shrek because originally Mike Myers wasn't Scottish, so he
Yeah.
redid it all in Scottish. And you just got to time it up, and you could do it.
Yeah.
But they did change the lines.
Also, Shrek famously an animation, which is a
Fan-
lot
a lot
easier.
You can
fix stuff.
change.
Yeah.
You can change the mouth. That's true. It's a terrible example, and I retract it.
But this is why I want to know what the deal with Sims is, because they steal all his gravitas and thunder by not letting him speak on camera. And
He doesn't even speak to his assistant on camera. Let's be honest.
he doesn't. And this kind of like, what is he? What's his deal? Why does
Yeah.
he care? Why does he want to murder these kids? What
What
are they
is
ruining?
his empire? What has he built that they're going to destroy?
That's the big question.
Answer
really,
that question
right?
for me. What has he built that they're going to destroy?
An aquarium to put his spider on.
That's a
I'm-
terrarium, sir, not an aquarium. There's no
Sure.
water in it.
No, there is water.
I wish
and it's
there
dead.
was. I wish there was.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to try and answer this honestly. And by honestly, I mean seriously.
Thank you.
The only thing that makes sense to me, and I kind of said it before, is that this spider clearly has extreme abilities and it's never been found, like by modern, like it's been found by the tribe of the Las Arañas. But he took it and then he let it bite him, obviously, to get his powers. But then he must have used it he must have monetized it somehow. Because she said that it could cure diseases.
Show
it's
your
blood.
work.
Well,
Yeah.
she said that it could cure a lot of diseases. So maybe
Okay.
he sold patents on medicine.
Okay.
How?
And-
He's a fucking idiot.
No, he had his. I know he's an idiot, but he could have had scientists come in and be like, "I found the spider and it has test its blood and see what you can do."
Peptides. It has peptides.
It has peptides. I heard the word peptides, and I'm pretty sure it can see through time. It told me to buy Bitcoin.
Tell me to sell Blockbuster and buy Bitcoin.
It told me to sell Blockbuster, buy Bitcoin. I bought it at 3 cents, and it's already up to 6. So I am
Great.
winning. And then
okay.
then I did that.
Great. So NFTs is your answer. That makes some sense.
he made
Like
non-legally binding Spider-Man NFTs. They'll
So
be
is
big
that-
once he comes out.
So I mean, to be fair, he never says his empire exists today.
No,
They're just
yeah.
going to ruin it in the future. Which, to be
Yeah.
fair, the future looks like a couple days. Oh, 10 years. She de-aged them 10 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They look the same, honestly. Like not a
They
fucking
did, yeah.
thing changed.
It's just a different picture of them that
Yeah.
she got
mean,
from his dreams.
Sydney Sweeney is playing a teenager, and she's like 26. It's also
Yeah,
very
well,
odd casting.
Yeah, the Celeste O'Connor is like 28.
Yeah, that and fucking Dakota Johnson's 36.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. It's fine. That's not what's important. I want to talk about Sims. Answer me this question. We know what his grand future power is. It's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But who is Ezekiel Sims? His family was killed. We know that.
Did we know
He's
that? Oh, when he was young.
yeah, he
Yeah.
yelled something about no one helped me when my family. I don't know. I
think
Now,
he- I think he
when
said-
my family was starving or something.
don't know. Who knows?
He said,
Yeah.
"No one helped me when I was born in the dark, molded by it. I didn't see the light till I was a younger man. Until then, it was nothing to me but blinding." I believe that was the line.
And
You know
now I
what,
will
though?
Break you.
Here's what I'll say. At least Bane had a mask on all the time,
Yeah.
so when
Yeah.
you overdubbed him, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was
Which you know, it's Tom Hardy's, which probably needed overdubbing. So.
I could dub myself, thank you.
You just sound like
What
fucking
happened there?
Gandalf at this point.
Yeah.
You shall not pass,
Or I will break you.
or I will break you.
I have a question. Why did his overdub need to have a Hispanic accent?
Well,
Listen, you.
as
Ezekiel Sims is not a Hispanic name.
no,
The
Sims
actor,
is English,
the actor is not Spanish
French by
or-
way of
by way of Algeria. Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be Peruvian.
Hey, Luciano, I have
Yes?
to ask you this question. You
Okay.
are the only Hispanic person on this podcast. You have to represent
I take offense
all
to that.
Hispanics.
Correct. You take offense to what, not being Hispanic? I do.
Okay,
What?
That's
What?
all.
you answer the question. Why is he Hispanic?
How would I know? Racism?
Okay,
I'll allow
Oh,
it.
he's vaguely brown. He must be an illegal immigrant.
listen, I can't speak to anybody knowing the answer, but I feel like you have shared kinship with them. It gives you
Well-
5% more insight than the rest of us.
Don't first of all, don't lump him with the likes of Ezekiel Sims, okay? I'll take offense to that. You can do almost anything in here, but not
All
don't
the
do
same.
that. I don't know. I guess I think Spencer's right. I think he's supposed to be Peruvian in descent. And that's how he know about the Las Arañas thing and all of that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be like a local.
But then fucking give him, at least write Ezekiel the way that you write it in Spanish.
Sure.
And don't give him an English lesson like his Alistair Sims, his dad. Like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know.
Okay.
Call him Simone. There,
Wow.
which is where that's where Sims comes from. Sim comes from
A girl's name, eh?
Simon. No,
Pretty
not
sure
Simone
Sims.
with an E. Simone in Spanish. You racist.
Pretty sure Sims comes from Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The Sims.
Pretty
No,
sure Sims comes from the
I would
Sims,
have
yeah.
liked if Gene Simmons was the villain. In
I
it.
think that answers a question I didn't ask, so I'm going to move on. Hey, when you take on responsibility, will great power come?
Oh, it'll come hard.
Yeah, it'll
Come hard and fast.
It will come all over its own pants.
Okay. No, it's great.
Responsibilities wearing pants.
They are now.
I guess they are. Okay. I was just curious. It just
Yeah.
kind of popped into my head. I don't know where
Okay.
it came from.
What
follow-up
what a
question.
unique kind of sentiment, right?
Yeah, I made it up myself. It came.
Yeah, no, great.
completely
It was
from
great.
the top of my head,
Beautiful.
Yeah. Can I ask how police work in 2003? They're chasing this fugitive.
Yeah.
And they don't go to her place of
House?
residence.
No.
They find that a spider person exists. A bunch of them get killed by said spider person, but some
Right.
survive, I think. Then they find the spider person again at a diner, and no one stays behind to watch over the crime scene. They just
It's
all
in
fuck
Churchill,
off.
New Jersey, man. What do you want?
Where? We don't have that
Where
good or
is-
bad.
Where is Churchill, New
Let me-
Jersey?
Listen, clearly you don't have much experience in police work
I don't.
because the second she's on the run, the last place she's going to go is to her home because that's the first place the police would be looking.
Yeah.
So there's no
And,
point in looking.
and
there.
also, she took the license plates away. That's like impossible to find now.
Yeah, and then after there's a crime scene, and she knows that that's where the crime scene was. The last place she's going to go is back to the crime scene. 'Cause that's the first place the police would look. So cops
Fair.
are going to waste valuable manpower.
No, you've trapped me. The police are perfect in 2003.
They're playing chess.
I do have a follow-up question. 3D chess. We've proven that Morbius and Madame Webverse are combined, right? Based on the police work.
Yes.
Clearly, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
wanted to check that.
about the same effectiveness, if anything else.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to check. Hey, different question. When you authority on potential, will it be great?
Okay. I think my ears are bleeding, but continue.
I think with great potential comes great greatness.
What about authority?
I
With
think
great authority.
With great authority comes vast greatness.
What about potential?
With great
this one's tricky.
potential comes authority.
No.
With great authority comes potential.
With vast potential comes great authority. No,
I think you're
with
wrong.
great potential comes vast potential.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
All right, that's the one.
That one is true. There's no way to argue with that.
Potentially. No, that's the right one. Hey, the Sims, we talked about this previously. Sims kills a ton of police.
Yes.
Like, to the point where he could have chased Cassandra Webb and the girls. And instead he stays
He
behind.
was having
to
too much
murder
fun.
A
Yeah,
bunch of police.
right.
What do they do to him that he's so angry at them?
Hispanic
Yep.
in
that's
New
right.
York. I rest my case.
Say no more.
First name Ezekiel.
Last name Sims for some reason.
Last name Sims. Almost got him out of a few problems.
But then he speaks.
But then
And
he
they go,
speaks.
why is your voice not following your mouth?
They're like, why does your Spanish accent fade?
Especially synced out of time. Put him
Yeah.
down.
Oh, is that another of his spider powers? Is like his speech is out of sync with his mouth?
Yeah, he's
I
out of
see.
the time stream.
Yeah.
And that's a felony.
I wish I
Okay.
was out of this time stream, so I didn't have to watch this movie.
No, I think to answer that question. Hey, when you take on obligations, when will endowment be great?
Yes.
Endowment will be great when you take on obligations. Does that answer your
You
question?
just fucking repeated it.
I mean,
No,
I guess you're
I
not wrong.
I reversed it.
So,
Like a time stream.
all right, fair enough, I suppose.
Check. I'm playing chess.
You're playing Canucks 4. I just don't know
Yeah, I was
what's
gonna
happening.
say, I think you're playing checkers more than chess.
And losing against the pigeon.
What, the
No,
pigeon that
let's-
flew into Cassie's house?
Yeah, this is a smart pigeon. It knows how to get out.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, why is Pepsi Cola the real hero?
Well,
I can
think
tell.
about
I
it.
can tell you. I can tell you why they're the real villains. Because
No.
they sponsored this fucking movie.
Hey, man,
Well,
that's
you
not
know
the
what?
question I asked you.
Yeah, but am I wrong?
No, they did not make this movie.
No, they sponsored it. They paid for it.
With
They didn't
great
pay for this movie.
sponsorship,
Comes great money.
great movies.
No, just no. Flat no.
What?
With great movies comes vast sponsorship.
How is Pepsi the real hero?
Well,
You said.
it defeated the main villain.
Yeah, true. Just
Um,
the S alone defeated the main villain.
Is the S alone as powerful as Iron Man?
Why would that be the case?
Because I don't know if Iron Man could have defeated this guy.
Probably.
Why couldn't? This guy lost all his super
This guy
strength.
isn't. This guy lost to 3 girls with no power and a woman with neuromuscular disease.
Okay.
This guy couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. It looks like.
Could Hawkeye beat this guy?
Yeah.
Yes. Unequivocally.
Okay. Who's the weakest character in Marvel Universe? Could
I mean, it's kind of Hawkeye, but
Scarlet? No, not Scarlet. She's really powerful. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson.
Black Widow.
Black Widow?
Could Black Widow beat this guy?
Yeah,
he's
he's a fucking idiot.
with an arm behind her back.
Okay, fine. All the Avengers could beat the S from Pepsi, okay? But the S from Pepsi beats this guy.
That's
Yeah.
that's all I wanted to know.
I think it says more about the guy than the S from Pepsi, but still.
I mean, I also think the Pepsi, they were drinking it often throughout the movie, and they were on the run, so I think they needed its high caffeine content to
and
keep them awake.
hydration power.
And
I
I'm pretty sure dehydrates people.
No,
Pepsi was famously winning the Cola Wars in 2003. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So thanks to Pepsi, the characters lived.
yeah, they weren't thirsty.
They were thirsty for Coca-Cola.
Oh
They couldn't get.
Don't say that. Pepsi's gonna hear
Obviously.
you.
Sorry, Pepsi. I thought you were stronger. I thought the S from Pepsi was stronger than Scarlett Johansson, but
Scarlett Johansson. It is. Definitely is.
I think you were
Okay.
wrong, but that's okay. I have one final question before we do our reviews. It's a very simple one. You know how what's her face had a kid at the end of the movie? What was that baby's name?
Peter Sims.
No.
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons, maybe. If it's Peter Sims, then Ben's sister banged Ezekiel.
Oh my God!
And
It's
he
all coming
didn't
together.
poison her.
Yeah.
Where was the father?
I mean, that's true.
It's all
Yeah,
tracked.
he never
Richard,
shows up. Yeah,
quote unquote,
Richard Ezekiel Sims.
He was out
Richard
of
pronounced
town.
it Ricardo.
No, they don't, because the way
Oh, right.
Ezekiel is written,
yeah, exactly. It's Richard, but he
Yeah.
says it out of sync with
It's-
his mouth.
it's Dick. Yeah,
My friends call me Dick.
Dick Sims.
Dick Sims is an important name.
Dick's,
I don't know
Dick
what it
Sims
is.
sounds like a film noir PI name,
Right?
Yeah, if that PI was banging porn stars.
So,
and Mary Parker at the same.
so we're
time.
going with Dickie Sims is
Dickie
the name
Sims
of that kid.
is the name of the kid.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you for clearing that for me. Let's do our reviews. Historically, we have ranked the movies on the S tier. S is the top. F is the Morbius level. Any letter is valid. Only some are correct. Luciano, why don't you give us your rating first?
What introduction is that? Every letter is valid, but a lot of them are going to be wrong. Okay. This is a garbage movie. Barely qualifies as a movie, as I said before. This is a bunch of set pieces in a trench coat pretending to be a movie.
Bad set pieces.
Trying to bark up to, oh, look, we're in the Spider-Man universe. Look at us. Acting was horrible, even for good actors. Dialogue was atrocious. Even the CG was horrible. This movie makes no sense. The powers make no sense. The actors couldn't give a shit about it. Why should I? It's an F. It's just, I wish I hadn't watched it and I,
Anything
hate
else?
myself.
Well, let me ask you this real question. Actually, I'll wait till Spencer does his
Okay.
F. Spencer, please.
I think I know your question. Actually.
This was the worst movie. I don't want to say the worst movie I've ever seen. The worst movie of this production level that I've ever seen.
Okay.
There are movies that are worse than this movie, but I don't think they have the amount of resources and budget and like IP that this movie has. With all that in consideration, this movie is almost worthy of a documentary to understand what went wrong with this movie.
Of a study.
There's
a double blind study.
There's so many levels of bad to this movie that it can't even be comprehended in this podcast. It's like we just talked for an hour and a half about all the flaws of this movie, and I feel like we barely scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah.
Like we didn't even get into all. We got into some of, but not even nearly all the technical flaws in this movie.
I was going to say.
Like
yeah.
there's like so many weird, baffling choices when it comes to like shots and edits and dialogue, and it's a phenomenon. It's almost worth watching to see it in like to quote Mark Twain and change it as this movie chooses to do with quotes. The rumor of this movie's horribleness was under exaggerated.
Jesus,
I
poor Mark
knew
Twain.
I knew it was bad, but it surprised me So, having said that,
A B, right? For
I
you.
mean, S tier. No, this F, low F. This is the new. I think I know Matt's question, and I'm going to answer it already. It's much worse than Morbius.
That was my question.
And
Much
I actually
worse
disagree. I
than
think
Morbius.
Morbius is worse than this.
No, you're wrong.
I know. I do. I at least had some fun with this movie.
The only fun to be had with this movie is how with the bad part. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when she said to her mother, who she hasn't seen in her entire life,
Right.
why did you hate me so much when she only had her in her belly? I mean, it was. I laughed out loud, but
For the wrong reasons.
for the wrong reasons. Exactly. Like this movie. It's confusingly bad.
That's fair. I would also like to give this movie a score. And to do so, I would like to quote the great play Billy Madison. At no point in your rambling, incoherent movie were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone who has watched this movie is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you
award you no
an
points.
F, and may God have mercy on your soul.
On our soul too. Well done. Well done.
Perfection. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. Yep, that was a movie. Let's talk about next week.
That's the right reaction.
Let's talk about next week. We're going to do a palate cleanse June. We're going to cleanse our palate so hard that we're doing a theme month for June. We're going to watch World War II movies. We're going to watch 4 of them. And we're going to start with, what is it?
The Ministry of
That's what it
Ungentlemanly
is.
Warfare.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. The Guy Ritchie Superman vehicle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Mr. Madonna,
Yeah.
Superman.
We hope
vehicle.
that it is better than what we just watched. But
You wanna tell them why we're doing this or no?
Yeah, I said we're doing a palate cleanser. It's a World War II month. I said all those things.
Is that why? No, it's not why.
Why?
Why did we choose World War II?
I mean, it's like what, the 700,000th anniversary of
Yes.
D-Day?
World War II famously happened before, like 3,000
Jesus.
before Christ.
I mean, all right. What are we? It's the 24
80th.
80th. There we go. Math. It's
80th
hard.
anniversary of D-Day.
It's the 80th anniversary of D-Day, which is an absolutely fucking wild statement, and I'm sure there are
right?
many young people that have no concept or any idea that the fascists tried to take over the earth. But good news, we're repeating it in 2024. So
Yeah,
you'll
only much
catch
more
on.
insidiously.
yeah, you'll catch on soon enough.
This time it'll be on TikTok.
Yeah, it'll
It
be
definitely will.
it'll be really at your fingertips. So look forward to that. But in the meantime, we will watch a couple movies, tell you about them, starting with the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So we will see you next week.
I mean, they
We
will
will.
hear us. We won't see anybody, but
God, I
they
hate
will
you.
hear us. If they
Luciano,
listen to this episode.
listen. I need the audience to know, with mighty competency